We looked at how to create tables. Let's look at images. These are really what makes the web interesting, in my opinion. Images are found all over the web, and good appropriate placement and usage will convey powerful added meaning and make your site visually interesting. To create an image, we use the image tag, which has one mandatory source attribute. Let's go ahead and open Atom and type the image tag, img, hit enter. And the one mandatory attribute, as I said, is the source attribute. The source attribute should specify a valid URL of the image to be displayed. I have an image here located from Zybooks. I'm just going to copy and paste this in. We'll save it, refresh it, and we'll go back to our web page, and you can see the image of the cat. Now, it's a good idea to always include an alt attribute, which gives textual information as an alternative to displaying the image. Let me demonstrate. We'll go in here into Atom. We'll add in the alt attribute, we'll say picture of cat. The alt attribute is important if, for some reason, the resource that your source attribute is pointing at doesn't exist. To demonstrate, we'll just take out one letter of our JPEG. We'll save it. We'll go back to our image of the cat and watch what happens as we refresh. You'll notice that now only the alt attribute displays. Alt attributes are also important for those who are visually impaired. It offers an alternative way to describe what is there when they can't see it. Now, there are two other important optional attributes, and these are the width and the height attribute. If you use both, the image will be resized to the pixel size specified, despite the aspect ratio of the image. If you only use one attribute, like only the width and not the height, or only the height and not the width, the original aspect ratio will be maintained. Let's demonstrate. We'll go back into Atom. We'll add our G back for the cat so it'll display again. And we'll add a height. And we'll say that the height is 200. We'll save it. We will go back to the browser, refresh it, and we can see now that the size of the image of the cat has now been sized exactly of a height of 200. If you only use one of the attributes, like the width and not the height, remember the aspect ratio will be maintained. There are three main image formats supported by all browsers. These are JPEG, the PNG, and the GIF. Sometimes the extension for the JPEG will be spelled JPEG. Just ensure, whichever one you use, that you're consistent between the file name and the source attribute that's used. Otherwise, this can really get you when images don't display. There's some other important things to remember here. The JPEG uses a lossy compression, which means it loses some of the original quality in favor of size. PNG and GIF use a lossless compression, which means no image quality is lost. However, GIFs are 8-bit, and while JPEGs and PNGs are 24-bit. 8-bit can only support 256 colors, whereas 24-bit can support 16 million. JPEGs do not offer transparent backgrounds, and GIFs and PNGs do. So GIFs do animations, and you really have to weigh these things out, weigh the cost and what you're doing. There's one other format to mention, and that is the SVG, which is based on XML. I think you might be seeing some more of this type as time goes by, but for the most part, when you're displaying images of houses, landscapes, and so forth, these will be either a PNG, a JPEG, or a GIF. SVG is more or less used for artistic work, animations, and so forth. The big thing to consider here is load times when it comes to images. The larger the image, the longer it will take to download. I recommend that you size all of your images to the appropriate display size and then save them as a JPEG because they load faster. If you need to display a high quality ping image, link to it so it doesn't affect the loading of other items. The last piece to talk about here is the favicon, which shows up in the tab of the browser. The favicon can be any ping, JPEG, or GIF, but are often found in the ICO format. Let's take a quick look back in our sample, and you'll notice that in our website here we have Twitter that is opened. The Twitter icon that you see is an ICO format that is the favicon for that site. And you can set the favicon for every page. So technically each page could have a different favicon, although I don't recommend that. Okay, that's it for this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up on all the content that's being released for this course. In the next tutorial, we'll be looking at how to create hyperlinks. See you then.